SCP-3063. A fly. Animals capable of thought and communication, whether verbal or telepathic, are quite common in the SCP universe. They range from sapient slugs like Lord Theodore Thomas Blackwood, SCP-1967, to more mundane creatures such as a fly. SCP-3063 tells the story of a fly that not only possesses the ability to think, but also has reality-bending powers. SCP-3063 is a telepathic, Class 5 reality-bending entity. SCP-3063 invariably manifests as a physiologically non-anomalous adult male housefly, Musca domestica. It is currently believed that only one manifestation of SCP-3063 exists at any given time, but this is yet to be confirmed. Manifestations are to be considered destroyed when they have sustained damage that would be sufficient to kill a non-anomalous housefly, after which SCP-3063 will manifest elsewhere on Earth. No manifestation event has been observed as for yet, and it is not currently known whether SCP-3063 manifests as an entirely new individual housefly or simply inhabits the body of an existing housefly.
Do you hear the buzzing?
All SCP-3063 manifestations operate with a single goal, namely making an agreement with an individual. The terms of such agreement vary greatly, but almost always involve SCP-3063 promising an individual any single thing they greatly desire in exchange for an unspecified price.
Ever so quiet.
Such offers have included large sums of money, the love of other individuals, political power, and reality-bending ability. It is hypothesized that SCP-3063 reads the thoughts of its target to tailor an offer specific to them. SCP-3063 refuses to discuss anything other than the terms of its agreement. Basically, it's a miniature version of a grassroots demon neatly packed in the body of a fly.
Ever so constant.
If an individual accepts the terms of the agreement, the SCP-3063 manifestation will immediately combust and die, at which point the individual will receive what they were promised.
The merest beating of wings in a far-off room.
If an individual does not accept, SCP-3063 will continue to attempt to tempt them with larger and larger offers until either the individual accepts or the manifestation is destroyed. If an SCP-3063 manifestation is destroyed, successive manifestation will continue to contact the individual until they consent to the agreement. After a period of 2,376 days from the moment an agreement with SCP-3063 is made, affected individuals will undergo a process as detailed below.
Do you hear me?
Fertilized eggs, representing virtually all known species of the order Diptera, will spontaneously appear within the lungs, throat, stomach, intestines, sinuses, air canals, rectum, urethra, and muscle tissues of the affected individual. The number of such eggs typically ranges between 5 and 20,000.
Do you hear me coming?
The eggs will hatch naturally, and the resulting maggots will begin consuming tissues of the affected individuals for between 3 and 14 days in order to escape the body. When this period has elapsed, the maggots will pupate and lie dormant. Within 2 to 6 days, pupae will emerge into adult imago flies.
I am.
Newly emerged flies will continue consuming their host and breeding with each other until the host has sustained sufficient damage and dies. This typically takes between 1 and 5 weeks and has been known to produce upwards of 50 million individual flies. When the affected individual has died, the remaining flies will cease reproducing and enter a stage of dormancy during which they will eventually starve and die.
Do you know what it is?
A new manifestation of SCP-3063 will appear shortly after the death of the affected individual. Affected individuals will remain conscious for almost the entirety of the process, resulting in great distress. Roughly 70% of the affected individuals will attempt suicide during this process.
What you'd give anything for?
Flies generated during the process have been determined to be entirely non-anomalous. If the affected individual dies during any point in the process or during the preceding 2,376 days, the process will stop and the flies will die. No known method of averting the process other than the death of the individual has been discovered.
I know.
SCP-3063 is believed to have been in operation for at least 4,000 years, as the earliest known records of entities and events matching SCP-3063 description have been discovered in early Canaanite settlements. Assuming an approximately constant rate of activity, this equates to approximately 415 agreements made. It is entirely possible that SCP-3063 has been in operation for considerably longer, and Foundation archaeological teams are currently searching for earlier recordings of events that would indicate as such.
I can give it to you.
In the event of the deaths of uncontained individuals due to SCP-3063's effects, Mobile Task Force Beta-5 is to mobilize and administer said individual with 90 grams of cypermethrin, a highly potent pyrethroid insecticide. Additional cypermethrin is to be sprayed within a 10-meter radius of the affected individual. After individual and any generated flies have died, remains are to be incinerated. Any civilian witnesses are to be given a regimen of Class A amnestics, and the area is to be closed for civilians for no less than 30 days under the pretense of non-specific toxic spill.
It may not seem like much time.
Seems like the SCP Foundation perceives SCP-3063 like a pretty serious threat, considering the fact that, as per the containment procedures, all manifestations of SCP-3063 should be destroyed instead of containing them.
But God.
All Foundation buildings and the residences of all Foundation personnel are to be equipped with the most effective insect control measures available. At no point should personnel ever interact with or acknowledge SCP-3063 manifestations outside of immediately destroying said manifestation.
It is an eternity.
Any Foundation personnel or civilian individuals known or suspected to have made an agreement with SCP-3063 are to be immediately contained in the nearest Foundation facility equipped with appropriate containment facilities until the event of said individual's death.
To fly.
Appropriate here means appropriate for containing millions of flies, not being appropriate or comfortable to host an individual that is being eaten alive by maggots. Once the affected individual has died, their remains are to be incinerated along with any organisms that may have emerged from them during their containment.
Is it worth it?
Individuals affected by SCP-3063 do not require food or other external attention and under no circumstances are to be removed from the containment while alive.
You can't decide.
To date, 6 Foundation personnel have been contacted by SCP-3063 and attempts have been made to alter the terms of the agreement to entrap SCP-3063 into neutralizing itself, though none have met with success. Let me read the logs here. Test number 363-1. Tester Senior Researcher Elizabeth Cow. Parameters: the death of SCP-3063. Result: SCP-3063 manifestation combusts. Eggs manifest within Dr. Gao 2,376 days after testing. Interpretation: SCP-3063 apparently interprets its death as the death of a manifestation.
But some part of you.
Test number 3063-2. Tester Senior Researcher David Roberts. Parameters: the permanent containment of SCP-3063. Result: SCP-3063 manifestation ceases moving and is determined to have died. The dead instance is contained within a secure containment unit below Site-63. After 2,376 days, Diptera X manifests inside Senior Researcher Robert's body. 3 months after his death, another SCP-3063 instance is confirmed.
Some deep, gnawing part of you.
Interpretation: again, such terms of agreement seem to extend only to SCP-3063's current manifestation. Test number 3063-3. Tester Dr. Carolyn Fairweather. Parameters: a permanent cessation of all activities of SCP-3063. Result: results identical to those of Test 3063-1.
Thinks it might be.
Interpretation: it is becoming clear that permanent in the context of SCP-3063 only extends for the 2,376 days prior to the death of the individual. Test number 3063-4. Tester Senior Researcher William Marlowe. Parameters: knowledge of the true nature of SCP-3063. Result: SCP-3063 combusts. A printed copy of this document without the test log appears before Senior Researcher Marlowe. Process proceeds as normal. If being eaten alive by maggots is normal at all.
Do you hear it?
Interpretation: assuming SCP-3063 does not cheat those it makes an agreement with, this document is to be considered accurate and true. Test number 3063-5. Tester Dr. Patrick Mangan. Parameters: clear, understandable knowledge of SCP-3063 other than knowledge currently possessed by the SCP Foundation. Result: SCP-3063 combusts. Results of this test and the following test appear printed before Dr. McGann, who proceeds to kill himself by puncturing his carotid artery with a pen. Interpretation: SCP-3063 either possesses precognizant abilities or is able to directly affect future events. Test number SCP-3063-6. Tester Dr. Jonathan Mabry. Parameters: is there even a choice? Results: Dr. Mabry experiences a severe pulmonary embolism and later dies en route to the medical center. SCP-3063 combusts. Well, you can call it a choice. Interpretation. See test 3063-5.
Do you hear the buzzing?
Wish-granting demons are considered to be ordinary workers of hell, granting wishes, taking souls. However, on rare occasions, like every 6 years, 6 months, and 6 days, big guys like baal-zebbub, the Lord of Flies, are allowed in our realm. It is no surprise that the SCP Foundation takes them seriously.